Hi, I'm Dan Pringle, physiotherapist and clinic director of Endeavour Rehab. If you spend a long time sitting at your desk, this video is for you. What we're going to go through is a series of movements that you can do on a regular basis that involve body weight, resistance bands, and dumbbells that will improve your mobility, activate some muscles you don't use very often, and work on your overall upper body and core strength. One of the important, easy stretches that we can do for our shoulders and upper back while we are spending a long time at our desk is the wall angel. It's a pretty simple stretch. All you need is a wall, and what we're going to do is we're going to work on trying to bring our shoulders back against the wall, elbows at about 90 degrees. For a lot of people that can be tough. If you've got a lot of stiffness through your upper back, that's going to make it a bit challenging for you to get everything back. But you're going to try to do the best you can, bringing your shoulders back, stretching the front of your shoulders, as well as trying to get the back of your head up against the wall, while your mid-back is still touching and you're not arching forwards with your stomach. Once you're there, you're going to try to raise your arms up as high as you can, keeping as much contact of your shoulder and arm on the wall as possible. We're trying to make sure that we have nice smooth movement, reaching all the way up, and you can even bring those elbows down as far as you can. Just bring it all the way up and back down. If you find a sticking point that you struggle with, you might need to bring the elbows off a little bit, but really try to avoid it. Try to avoid having the head coming forwards. You're really just going to work on that movement, up and down, with the goal being to open up the shoulders, increase the range of motion, working on the extension of our bodies. We spend so much time sitting forwards at our desks that these types of stretches are incredibly valuable for desk workers. If you have a resistance band, something like this is perfect, but if you have a different version of it, it'll work as well. The resistance band is great for so many upper body exercises because you get to choose the exact amount of resistance that you're going to be working with, and it's very versatile. We're going to show you a couple upper body exercises that use a resistance band that make a big difference in terms of opening up your chest and strengthening some of the muscles of your shoulder blades. So the first one here is just going to be taking the resistance band at whatever distance you feel comfortable, pulling it out in front of you at shoulder height, and pulling straight across, opening up your chest, working on the muscles behind the shoulder blades. What you're trying to do here is actually pull your shoulder blades back together as you straighten the arms. Obviously, you can make this harder by pulling further back, by adding more resistance, by choking up on your resistance band like this, or by holding for a little bit longer at full tension. When it comes to resistance band exercises, find yourself a banister, a doorknob, something you can wrap your band around. If you're really struggling for space, you can always tie a knot in this and close it inside of a door, and that should be enough to provide you some resistance. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around a structure like this, around that banister. We're going to grab with both hands, and we're going to row directly backwards. What our focus is here is to make sure that we are engaging our muscles between the shoulder blades, squeezing, almost trying to get our elbows to touch behind our back. It's activating a series of muscles that don't get a lot of work when we're sitting for long periods of time. Again, make sure that you are keeping your core on, staying nice and tall, and that your head isn't coming forwards like that. You're keeping everything nice and neutral. The second exercise we can do is wrapping it again around that banister of some sort. This time what we want to try to do is tie a knot if we can. In this case, I'm wrapping and looping it here. And we're going to keep our elbows at shoulder height, and we're going to pull our elbows directly back. The band should move back towards the front of our head. And doing so, it's again, we're activating the back of the shoulder, and we're activating some of the muscles in our shoulder blade region, all of which are very important, especially as we spend long periods of time sitting at our desk. When it comes to other movements you can do with your upper body, there's a lot you can do with a pair of dumbbells. Here I have a pair of 10-pound weights, but we can use a variety of different weights based on what you have, based on your comfort level. But even if it's a little easy for you, it's not a bad movement just to break up the day and to move in a variety of different ways. So what we're going to focus on here is a dumbbell bench press, and if we have a bench or something you can lay on like this, it's one version. I'm also going to show you later on the ground. Basically what we're going to do is find that natural position laying on our back flat, and we're going to have the dumbbells at our side. From there, we're just raising straight up and straight back down, making sure that we're not dropping our weight, that we're not twisting to one side, that we're not arching our back, that we're staying nice and neutral as we do this movement. If this is too easy for you based on the weights you have, one variation you can try is to hold and to alternate arms. So you're doing single arm, it's a little bit more of a focused approach on an individual side versus both at the same time. Again, feel free to adjust the weight based on your tolerance and based on your comfort level. From the position laying on your back, you can still do a bench press. You have an option of having your knees bent or having your knees straight. I'm going to keep mine bent. Obviously, our arms can't go as far down, but we still can get a very similar movement. We can do alternating arms. We can even do more of a narrow push and press here, depending on what you feel like. So again, a way to alternate depending on the equipment that you've got at home, but even this movement can be great for the upper body and for the shoulder strengthening. When it comes to other exercises we can do with the dumbbell, another good one is overhead press. It's great for some of the shoulder muscles and for our extension of our upper back, something that oftentimes doesn't happen while we sit for long periods of time. So for this one, we can do this in standing or we can do it in sitting. I'll show you in sitting afterwards. Basically, we've got our dumbbells once again. We're going to start with them here at our chest, we're going to start with them here above our shoulders, and we're going to just press them straight up and bring them back down. Again, the focus here is that we're not moving too far in front with our head. We're staying nice and neutral, and we're working on trying to activate some of the deltoids, some of the shoulder blade muscles, and making sure that we stay nice and tall. We do want to avoid a scenario where we arch our upper back. I'll show you that in a second. We don't want to be arching through our back to raise things up. We want to stay nice and neutral. And we can also press in a more narrow stance rather than pressing outwards. We're also going to look at shoulder raises, another movement that activates your shoulders using your dumbbells. Once again, we're just bringing our arms up out to the sides. For some people, maybe not even holding a dumbbell can be an exercise. Again, the key is that we're not hiking our shoulder blades, that we're not bringing our neck further forwards. We're just bringing our arms out nice and neutral and working on trying to elevate our shoulders as much as possible. We can see it from the side, the exact same thing, nice and neutral, and bring it back, avoiding the hiking of the shoulders. A plank is a really valuable movement for us to work on our core and upper body strength for people who are sitting for long periods of time. This is an easy one to do, and we have lots of different variations for it as well. So to get started in the plank position, what we're going to do is we're going to get on our hands and knees, and you can either rest your forearms down, this will be a little bit easier, or we can actually come up onto our hands. I'm going to show you down with your forearms here. You're going to start in this position, and then you're going to straighten out both legs. The key is, once again, that we stay nice and neutral and flat. We want to try to avoid is coming up and arching our hips or sitting down too far. So finding that nice neutral position is key. And from there, we want to make sure our core is engaged. We're bringing our waistline closer to our ribs, tucking it under, making sure it stays engaged. This, again, is something you can do for about 10 or 15 seconds. You can progress to doing 30 seconds or more, but even a short little exercise here or there can make a big difference for you over the course of the day. The push-up is a really valuable movement that works on the muscles in the front of our chest to work on activation and strength, as well for some of the shoulders. I'm going to show you a couple different variations based on what you're going to be able to do in terms of strength and capabilities. So the first version is going to be a push-up, just a regular one on the ground. I've got a couple points I want you to consider. I'm going to have you down here on the ground. You can start on your knees and work yourself into a nice starting position. Your hands are going to be shoulder width apart, facing forwards, and you're going to use your muscles, your legs, and your core to lift yourself straight up. The key is not that you're rounded or that you're extended, that you're nice in a neutral position, and from there you're going to lower down slowly and back up. Try not to over flare the elbows. Try to keep them nice and neutral close to your body as you go down and back up, maintaining control of the shoulder blades as you do it. This is one you could do even just 5 or 10 reps would be really fantastic. If you can do more than that as a bigger exercise program, that's good as well. If that's too challenging for you, another option is to do it from your knees. So the exact same principles apply, making sure your back is nice and straight, and again, you're slowly lowering down, keeping those elbows tight. This is a little bit less effort, obviously, without the full leg engagement, but at the same time, you're going to find this to be a really effective movement for strengthening the shoulders. Again, starting even 5 reps, doing that periodically throughout the day, or in an exercise program that you do before, after, or during your day, it's all really effective. Okay. Another variation for the push-up is to do it in an elevated position using your chair. Again, the exact same principles apply, making sure your core stays on and your back stays nice and straight. We're not bending just at our upper body. We're not arching through our lower back. From this position, we can bend down and back up. This will bias it a little bit more to the arms relative to the core and the lower body. So again, more of an upper body exercise, but something really valuable for people who sit at their desks for long periods of time. If you have any challenges with the exercises or questions at all, drop a comment below, or you can reach out to us at info@endeavorrehab.com. And remember, move more and move often.